to the action, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live on Sky Sports from the amazing city of Glasgow. As the MGM Premier League, all brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the players. The newly crowned Bahrain Dance Master, the winner of the Masters, 4 PDC titles. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a 2-time World Championship semi-finalist and the winner of the Lakeside. Time to meet the Bullet, Stephen Bunting! The winner of 157 PDC titles worldwide, the record-breaking 7-time the Premier League champion, and a 3-time champion of the world.
Gerwen, who made the semi-finals last week. Couple of points on the board for him. Beat Littler in that incredible match that went all the way to a last leg decider. But then he just kind of threw away opportunity after opportunity to lose to eventual winner on the night, Luke Humphreys, in the final 4. That went to a last leg decider as well. But Van Gerwen averaging around 103.5 across those matches. Won the night in Glasgow last year. That was a week later. It was week 3 last year. So what can he do here this evening then against Stephen Bunting, who is looking to get his first Premier League points here in Glasgow this evening? Lost in the quarterfinals last week. That was to Rob Cross 6-4. And Bunting was chatting about it with Polly. Back in the Premier League fold for the first time in a decade. So can he get off the mark here in Scotland tonight? They say first meeting between the pair since the Masters final. That was last February, which Stephen Bunting, of course, went on to win. Right then, to guide you through our second quarter-final of the night, I'll hand you over to Laura Turner and Stuart Pike.
I'll tell you what, Glasgow never fails to disappoint. fantastic atmosphere, full house, after that first game. Wow, who would have predicted that? Littler storming back from 5-1 down to beat Cross, and Luke Littler, of course, awaiting the winner of this in the first semi-final. Can Bunting get a win on the board, or is it going to be yet another Van Gerwen Littler showdown?
Yeah, you have to say, feel a bit Rob Cross had that lead, had match-winning chances, but got to take him against the likes of Luke Littler. It seems to me something quite similar here for Stephen Bunting as well. He was rather overwhelmed by the experience. He had that kind of 10-year hiatus away from the Premier League. He's worked very hard to get back to the form that we're seeing from him. But it's the walk on, obviously the crowd engagement, hearing everyone chanting his name. He just found that quite overwhelming. So this week, all focus on the match, on the task in hand.
434.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Lauren, when you consider that all he's achieved and his success on the board over the last 6 months or so. But yeah, he admitted it just was affecting my nerves from start to finish. Got to get his act together here, and could be in danger of being broken in the opening leg.
Yeah, we're only in week 2, and obviously this is a marathon in terms of qualification for finals on week 17. But you want to be getting a few points on the board. You don't want to be cut off. We've seen it from players previously. Peter Wright, a case in example, is very hard to catch back up.
14 dart breaker throw from Van Gerwen. Bunting had thrown 15 and was nowhere near.
You look at their head-to-heads, their match-up. Emma mentioned earlier that win, which was their last meeting, which did go the way of Stephen Bunting, but 21-5 in favour of Michael Van Gerwen. Is very heavily weighted towards the green machine.
89.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag, wasn't it, from Van Gerwen in the opening week of the Premier League in Belfast. That sensational game against Luke Littler, and he, for a long time as well, he looked like winning the semi-final against Luke Humphreys, and he made a mess of it at the business end of the game. And Humphreys, you don't give him a chance to get back, and Luke Humphreys, of course, took it and then won the opening night. Humphreys featuring in our final quarter-final here in Glasgow against Chris Dobie, who reached the final last week, a repeat of last week's final. But this is a real struggle here for Stephen Bunting in the opening couple of legs. The best we've seen from him, 2 tons. He's not finding anything.
96.
And in this short race, a race to 6, when we see these players normally on televised events, is much longer. Tops required here for Van Gerwen.
80. Stephen, you require 156.
Well, he's hit some big finishes in big games of late. This would get him going for sure. 156 Bunting. It could be 2-0 very shortly.
2-0 it is. As you say, Bunting, this early stage in the match, not really finding anything. No shots at the outer ring, and just the 2 tons you mentioned, Stu.
Averaging 74, Stephen Bunting.
96.
Up to world number 5. And it just isn't happening yet again. Had a difficult night, as we say, suffering from a case of the nerves in Belfast, and the real pressure here in leg 3 on throw.
You look back to when Stephen Bunting actually played in the Premier League last time, 2015, as we mentioned, 10 years ago. The only player actually in the field still that was playing back then is Michael Van Gerwen. And both their meetings back then went the way of the Dutch player.
131.
That was well worked out by Bunting. A leg you feel he has to win.
134.
Again, Michael Van Gerwen just tapping him on the shoulder.
Much better that from Bunting. Possible 13 darter. Get a foothold in this game. Get a leg on the board. Gotta be a good guide. Well, would you believe it? He was on a possible 13 darter, 3 clear darts in his hand. Van Gerwen splitting, looking at double 16. He makes no mistake. And instead of being 2-1, Van Gerwen stretches out to 3-0 with a double break and throw.
A really efficient performance so far by Michael Van Gerwen. Doubling success, 3 out of 4 on the outer ring, and he's really punishing the mistakes of Stephen Bunting.
Also going to knock his confidence even more. And they produced 6 fabulous darts to lead himself on top, so then just couldn't finish it. It's the first 180.
140.
I think as a dart player, you do tend to go through a range of emotions, from frustration, you have that dip in confidence, but it only takes 1 or 2 little things to get yourself back on track.
It's 38 maximums in Belfast on the opening night.
139.
Bunting here averaging only 80. That will help immeasurably.
164.
But despite the 180 from Bunting, Michael Van Gerwen 6 from here, back for 64.
We've seen during
140.
the years of the Premier League, it can be very brutal, can't it? Double 4. Well, Bunting had left himself top, nothing going his way, everything going Van Gerwen's way. 102 average, 4-0 up, and you've got to say, it's about right. Even those missed darts from Stephen Bunting.
6.
But it just isn't happening for the man from St Helens yet again.
Yeah, Mark Webster did say at the top of the show his tip for tonight was Michael Van Gerwen, because he thinks last week would have hurt him. It was a real opportunity, as you mentioned before, that match against Luke Humphries. He let it slip. And we do know a wounded version of Michael Van Gerwen is quite often a dangerous one.
131.
Van Gerwen just keeping up that pressure on the Bunting throw.
96.
You say though, even if you do badly for the first 2 or 3 weeks, as Van Gerwen does find the first 180 of the match, looking to make it 5-0. There's still time, isn't there? A couple of good weeks and you're back in business, and Bunting, superb from Bunting. But Van Gerwen's got to get a dart. A double 7. Oh, vintage Van Gerwen. 1-2-2. Nothing Bunting can do. 106 average and throwing for a whitewash.
Yeah, that would have been painful for Stephen Bunting. Himself up nicely with the 180, but that 1-2-2 from Hemfichi, absolutely sublime.
Yeah, but there is still time. But it's got to knock your confidence, hasn't it? And the priority for Bunting here is to avoid a whitewash.
Yeah, I agree, but Michael van Gerwen making it very difficult, just averaging around the 106 mark. Bunting's average has come up a lot. Still not enough to make any real indent on the MVG throat.
I think a lot of that is the fact that he's hit a couple of 182s, but he's only had darts and a double in one leg, and that was leg 3 when he missed 3 at tops and 10.
MVG coming back with his second maximum of the match.
Well, last time Van Gerwen hit a 180, Bunting did the same, but this time only 140. But for the match, 7-7 again. So a chance for Bunting to get a leg on the board. One miss for 6-0.
Stephen, you require 87.
Can he avoid the dreaded whitewash in a Premier League? Yes, he's got 2 at 18. He's got 1 at 99. And he takes a chance, and he does avoid the whitewash. There is a smile, but a feeling of huge relief. Van Gerwen missing 1 dart at 7-7 for 6-0.
Well, we saw in the opening match, Cross was leading 5 legs to 1 over Luke Littler, and he managed to find a way to come back. It's not the easiest of routes, but it's not impossible.
It would even be more remarkable, wouldn't it? Littler's achievement.
97.
Van Gerwen averaging nearly 108 here. He means business again here in Glasgow. Winner here 12 months ago.
43.
Looking to repeat the dose, but to this packed crowd once more. Well, 3 180s and an average of 110. This is ruthless. He's only made 1 error, and it was only a minor slip, missing a dart at 7-7. But this is punishing for the 7 times Premier League champ.
Back in the treble, looking to set up. Would have expected more from that, but Stephen Bunting way back on 298.
It looks like we're going to get another eagerly anticipated showdown between Van Gerwen and Littler, this time in the semi-finals.
If Stephen Bunting just hasn't been able to find a response, it has been an exceptional performance from MVG.
47. We require 32.
Brutal from Van Gerwen. Finishes it with a 13-darter. Finishes with an average of 109. And he demolishes Stephen Bunting by 6 legs to 1.